So here's your submitted question. Dr. Mitnaul, my child is sleeping poorly and we haven't been able to find the answer. What should we be looking out for? All right. So my number one, there are many things actually that can influence a child's sleep. And so I'm always going to say, it is important that we are ruling out the organic things that can sometimes be going on in the life of a child, right? One of them being, people can have and children can have, sleep disorders. We know that, for those who are watching near daylight savings time, that having that shift does change the circadian rhythm of kids too. And sometimes they can really struggle to get back into their form footing. But in this question, I suspect the parent actually knows there's something afoot. We're doing our nighttime routine, whatever that might be, and I'm still not getting really great sleep, or my child really isn't getting good sleep. One of the biggest culprits of insomnia is actually screen time. You might be surprised to hear that, or maybe you're not surprised to hear that especially in the hours leading up to bedtime, this really plays a significant role. And so in the last several years, you've heard the American Academy of Pediatrics and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatrists make recommendations around not only the length of time that kids are spending tied to these devices, but also how closely they're using those times when it's time to go to bed. It turns out our phones are actually so good and so attractive that they actually can trick the optic nerve into thinking that it is seeing daylight. And so it's important that our kids are having time away from screens to help their bodies actually be regulated by the cycles of day and night. Go figure. And it turns out that the better that kids are able to do that, the healthier their sleep becomes. And so if you're looking for a place to begin, that's the first place I begin. You might be asking yourself, how much time is too much time? Now, I am the person that is going to say, go with your parental gut. If you feel like it's too much, the answer is it's too much. But what studies have shown is that more than 2 hours of screen time in the evening are those kids are more likely to experience sleep issues. And teens who use a device in bed are at a high risk of chronic sleep deprivation. So often, even before I'm doing anything else, before we're even talking about melatonin, nutrition, diet, exercise, this is the number one place that we're beginning in our conversation. And so, parents, what are some practical things you can start doing? Well, one is setting screen curfews, especially if you have older kids who you are allowing to have access to these devices before bed. So at least 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Also, I like screen-free areas of your home, and the bedroom is number one among them, so just don't do it. Certainly, using night mode and blue filters can also help dampen the experience of your brain confusing some of the screens for daylight, and so that can be helpful for some kids. And then getting into like calming activities before bed, so not doing the highly stimulated things. Often those things do involve screens right before going to bed. So all of those things can be really helpful. And hack number one is us, guys. If we can model really great and healthy behaviors around, what we're doing before bedtime, if our kids are up late enough to kind of see what we're doing, but setting aside time that are screenless, especially in the evening, is really, really helpful. So say you're going to do, prayer time with your kids and a story. All right, make sure that there aren't dings, pings going off in your pocket while you are sharing that time with your kids. It also helps to send the message that the priority is resting your brain and us connecting and getting settled in for the night. So let's do it ourselves.